nobody on this road that can save your soul. Almost lost control now. Tell me what you need in a friend and now. Pray that we endure to the end again. I'm just saying that I'm here for you. When the world turn against you, I'ma be with you. Got my soul in my hand, you can count on me. I won't run and hide, fight mightily.
Waiting on your house shot. See the Jacob, I'm the apple of my father's eye. I learned the truth for who I was and it made me cry. If I don't keep the laws of Yah, then I'm gonna die. Living curses, but I'm edifying in my verses. Prepare the hearses for the heathens who be steady learning.
Khan. First and foremost, like to give all praises, glory, and honor to the Most High God, Yahweh. We do so by Shema Mashiach, Wamalak Yahushai. To the 12 tribes scattered abroad, greetings. To the elect elders, to the hopeful elect, to the brothers and sisters striving for righteousness according to faith in the Mashiach Wamalak Yahushai. It's Man of Mondays. I say Salakia. Definitely later starting than expected, but all praise to the Most High. We here. I almost forgot, straight up and down. It's been a day, almost got carried away. In the daily tasks of the world. Damn task at jobs, task at home, task just the world. And through the spirit and through the grace and mercy of the Most High, I'm damn in the shower, and the Most High hit me like it's Monday. What are you doing? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, and I'm like, man, I do it tomorrow. My wife even exhorted me, like, nah, I might as well just do it tonight. So all praise to the Most High Yahweh Shem Yahushai for his grace and mercy, and for that reminder. To be in his truth is very important, right? And man, it's a precept that comes to mind too, because when we think about being in this truth, it's a responsibility, right? And I want to get this 1 Thessalonians 2:4. Let me get this 1 Thessalonians 2:4 1 second, because being in this truth is not it's a special thing. Put it that way. It's a special thing, and we have a responsibility, and you don't want to take that lightly. You don't want to take that lightly, because the Most High, right? It says the workers are the work is many, but the laborers are few. So you don't want to take that very lightly. And I almost took it lightly tonight. I got caught up in just all type of domestic and just worldly vanities, right? So I'm late tonight on Man of Mondays, but all praise to the Most High Yahweh Shem Yahushai. I'm here. He didn't let me forget and miss out on bringing out the word. So 1 Thessalonians 2:4 says, but as we were allowed of God to be put in trust with the gospel, even so we speak, not as pleasing men, but God, which trieth our hearts. And the Most High God, he knows where your heart is, which is your mind. He knows if you're sincere. He knows if you're not. He knows if you are, he knows when you forgot your first love. He knows how you were and how we were when we came into this truth and you first heard about it and you was going so hard. And now things are starting to slip, right? And, we got to realize that we were allowed of Yahweh to be put in trust with the gospel. And that's a humble realization is the word I'm looking for. I want to get this real quick. Definition of realization. When you realize something, right? An act of becoming fully aware of something as a fact. The fulfillment or achievement of something desired or anticipated. So in the context right here, the act of becoming fully aware of something as a fact. When you realize that we're in this truth, not by our own accord, right? But that the Most High has sent his son and put the spirit in order to attract you into this truth. That's a humble thing. That's it takes a lot of humility. It takes all of the what is it called? The pride out of it. Because you can't serve the most high God with pride. Think how that sounds. You cannot be prideful and serve the most high God. The most high wants a humble spirit, a contrite, a broken spirit, right? Let's get this and you can't choose the most high. So when it says, but as we were allowed of God to be trusted with the gospel, even so we speak, not as pleasing men, but God. You know, I was devastated. Like, dang, man, I didn't let the task and the cares of the world, you know, almost if it was up to man, if it was up to me, my mortal self, I would have forgot about man on Mondays tonight, straight up and down. But all praise to the Most High God when He entrusts something in you, and He puts the spirit of grace and He shows mercy to enable you not to forget, even though you forgot. It's just deep, right? Let's get this John 15:16, right? Because even the humbling part about it is we can't choose the Most High. You can't, you're not in His truth, right? Or you didn't fall out of it. For brothers and sisters who fell out of the truth, right? You're not in this because of on your own accord. You didn't wake up and decide to start serving the Most High. The Most High chose you. He called you out of the world through the Spirit. It might have been certain events that led up to Him waking you up, right? It might have been, those events may have been tragic events. I know me personally, my nephew got murdered and my brother was in the truth, and the Most High, we was at the repast and I saw he had fringes on his shirt. And I was scoffing on him. Like, man, this dude got something on his shirt. You know, he always been kind of fashionable. So I'm thinking it was a new fashion trend. So I'm kind of poking, making jokes, you know, trying to convert him to Islam. I was in Islam at that time. Right? So the Most High God will call you out of various situations that you're in if He has predestinated you according to knowledge, according to grace. And that's humbling. John 15:16. Ye have not chosen me, but I have chosen you and ordained you that ye should go and bring forth fruit. So when you think about ordination, for something to be ordained, we hear about like an ordained minister. Hey, well, the Most High God has ordained you to be in His truth and to bear righteous fruits, to bear progress in this truth. So, and that's a humbling thing. Let's get into this ordained, right? Let's get into this ordained, Salakia. Ordained right here. Ordained, Strong's G5087. To place, to lay, to set, to place. So when you think about placing something, that's intentional. So the Most High God has placed you in this ministry. You should be humbled by that. That is a big responsibility, that the Most High God called you and chose you out of the world, out of a whoredoms, foolishness, folly, out of death, right? Let's get this real quick. What I want. What I want. No, for Salakia. I want Romans 6:23, Salakia. I'm on Romans 6:23. Remember, the wages of sin is death, but the gift of Yahweh is eternal life through a Mashiach Muhammad Yahushua. So being in His truth is a gift. A gift isn't something that sometimes you can get a gift that you didn't even deserve. Just think about that. You might have got a gift off of somebody else's merit. So we got to be thankful to be in His truth, and it always should be as an act of humility before the Most High God, right? Because that's who we serving. Man may not understand certain moves you make. They may not be able to discern with righteous judgment on how you go about things and righteous intentions. But the Most High God, He's a discerner of the intents of the heart, right? Through the word, through the spirit. So we got to be thankful, that we are in His truth, and it's a humbling thing. All right, let me get this quick precept, because you got to think, when we was in that Matthew, when the Most High God, He said that John 15 and 16, Him calling us out of the world, right? You got to think about our righteous forefathers. I'm gonna get this real quick. Things spot around. So when our mighty forefather Abraham, when the Most High God called him out of where he was, you got to think about that. I want to get this real quick. Genesis 17:5. Neither shall thy name anymore be called Abram, but thy name shall be Abraham, for a father of many nations have I made thee. When the Most High God calls you and calls you out of the position that you were in, and calls you out of the mentality that you were in, the Most High God puts a new name on you through the Spirit, right? And that new name that's on you is you are brought back into the fold as a child of God under the name or the grace of Hamashiach Yahweh Shai. And that's how you begin to be changed through the Spirit. That's how you begin to be broken down. That's how you begin to be polished up. Because there's a lot of things about your mentality, about your personality, about your attitude, about the way that you go about things that are just not right, that need correction, right? And so it's a humbling thing to know that the Most High God has chosen us out of this world and has brought us into a place of servitude at the end of the day. And that's humbling, to be able to be that humble servant, to be able to strive for perfection, even though you fall short. Even when, and I want to get this quick precept too, because when you think about falling short, right? Falling short doesn't have to be something big, right? And what I mean by that is you could backslide majorly by keep kind of falling short in little spans, a little here, a little there, a little here, a little there, a little here, a little there. And next thing you know, you damn back in the world. So falling short and backsliding doesn't always happen in big leaps and bounds. All right. Let me get this real quick. It's the book of Sirach or Ecclesiasticus, chapter 19 and verse 1. A laboring man that is given to drunkenness shall not be rich. Think about what this is teaching in wisdom. How can somebody who has a responsibility, who has to go put in work to bring forth fruit, like we read in that First Thessalonians, how can somebody who's task oriented accomplish those tasks if they're always drunk? If you setting out in any type of business enterprise, damn in life, if you got daily tasks you got to accomplish and you damn drunk, you're not going to be efficient. You're not even going to be in your right mind to be able to perform at your at a mediocre standpoint, right? So, and you see people who drink and drink and drink as a similitude going into this, and next thing they know, they got damn congestive liver failure, I think it's called. You know, because it didn't just happen overnight. It was little by little by little by little. So backsliding doesn't have to happen in big leaps and bounds. It can happen by a whole bunch of little things. It starts. It's like this, real quick. Hold on, I'm gonna get this precept right quick. But I want to show y'all this. I know y'all remember this. I know everybody remember this. Dominoes falling. Remember when you was younger, you see things like this. How one, look at this. One domino, one fall has now started a big chain of events. Look at this. They're starting all of these chain of events have started because of one domino fail. This is crazy. But somebody took their time to set this up. Right? So it doesn't have to be one big situation that happens and then damn, now it's not always all right. Well, I was hearing the truth today, and now tomorrow I'm back in Islam. It doesn't have to be a big transition just suddenly. It could be a little thing. You stop reading as much. Now you're not being fed as much in your spirit. So now certain things are popping in. And as things are jumping in, right? Guess what's happening? Now you're going from 100% of the time doing what you're supposed to do to now you got little spirits. Boom, boom, boom. Now, because you're not feeding your spirit, you allowing more wicked thoughts to creep in your mind. And those seeds are being planted. And like it says, and he that contemneth small things shall fall by little and little. So it doesn't have to be a situation where, you know, all of a sudden you out the truth or big strides or it's a big fallout. It can happen little by little. Small things end up being big things, right? And I'm going to get this precept on the similitude. I think it's in the book of James, right? 1 second. Let me get this real quick. About the tongue, as an example. That James 3 and 5. It says, matter of fact, I'm going to read it up a little bit. Salakia, let me start. I'm going to start with actually James 3 and 1. It says, my brethren, be not many masters, knowing that we shall receive the greater condemnation. Now, if you are a teacher, if you're in a position of authority, maybe the Most High has you over a congregation of many men. Maybe the Most High has you over a congregation of, you know, maybe it's just your household that you've been put in authority over. And maybe it's a vast congregation. You know, maybe even teaching on online platforms, whatever it may be, you're going to be held in higher, what's the word I'm looking for? Accountability. You're going to be held to a higher standard of conduct and condemnation, knowing that we shall receive the greater condemnation. Why? Because if you are in that position that the Most High has put you in authority, it comes with the responsibility. And that is a humbling thing to think about. Because if you don't realize how delicate and how important that responsibility is, next thing you know, you will begin to mislead the sheep. And once again, it might start little by little. It might start with you not. I know me, I need to fast more. I say, look, you know what? I'm going to fast on such and such a day. And sometimes that day come and go. And I say, you know what? I'm going to catch it the next week. Little things like that could get you out the truth. And now little things like that could allow other things to come into your spirit. And now you're not being built up and you're not protecting yourself. Doesn't the precepts in the book of Proverbs say that, a man who doesn't have, paraphrasing, control over his spirit is like a city with the walls that are broken down? And when we pray to the Most High that he puts a hedge of protection around us and our families and our children and things of that nature, right? When we pray for those things, Salakia, bear with me, y'all. When we pray for those things, we shouldn't be just praying for that and like it's a like it's just what the word I'm looking for. It's not just something you pray for and not think that there's not action items that you have to take to help that come about. What do I mean? Okay, Brother Nehemiah, what you mean? Well, all right, you praying that the Most High God keeps you, let's say you got a lustful mentality. You praying that the Most High God keeps you from lust, but you in a damn strip club. Now, logically, how does that make sense? How does that make sense? It doesn't. It doesn't make sense at all. So when you're praying for things, you also have to put in the work. And that's why it says faith without works is dead, right? You don't want to be in a situation where you're puffed up and you're like, you know what? That will never happen to me. Well, yeah, I heard other brothers went through that, or other sisters went through that, but that will never happen to me. That's pride. And pride will get you destroyed in this truth. Just like how we saw those dominoes falling, pride will get you destroyed. Let's get 2 Chronicles 7:14. So, do you have a humble spirit in this truth? Are you humble? Do you know what humble is? A lot of times too, I know this could sound kind of backwards, but a lot of times it's prideful to even say how humble you are. It's a thin line. And that might sound crazy, but when you really reflect on it through the spirit, Lord willing, to make perfect sense. I'm going to run that back. You want to watch out because oftentimes it's prideful to say how humble you are. And that's kind of cutting me right now. Like, man, it's prideful because you want to move in a spirit of humility, but you don't want to be, me, it's just me. I'm just the most humble, And you want to even examine yourself on that because there's no ceiling. You could always be more humble. And a lot of times people think that they're humble and they really not. They damn prideful, they arrogant, they boastful. But a lot of those people will consider themselves humble by the ways of the world. Yeah, you know me, I'm just humble, but you're really not. 2 Chronicles 7:14. If my people, which are called by my name, now we know the people that are called by the name of the Most High are the Israelites, shall humble themselves. Now you want to humble yourself and pray for that spirit of humility before the Most High humbles you through damn discipline. It's different between being humbled, self-humility, right? Where you literally are going out and you examine yourself and you're striving in sincerity to be humble. You take an account of your communication, because that's another thing that could show lack of humility. How do you respond to situations? Are you patient? I had a little something happen to me today. Like my daughter is working on her math, on her accounting, like counting money and things of that nature. And I was very irritated because I felt like she should have been further. So-called school is about to start back, and we going over some things, and I felt like honestly that she should have been further along than what she was. But it was a humbling thing because I had to examine myself in a moment, like, All right, brother, you feel like that, but how much time did you spend with her over this summer? And how much of that time that you spent did you waste in terms of, okay, letting her play Roblox when you could have easily just been working on her math? So it was literally a humbling thing. And oftentimes the Most High will put you in a situation and give you the opportunity. We know we're not saying free will, right? From your vantage point, to be able to acknowledge where you fell short at. And it takes a humble spirit to even examine yourself or be examined. So the Most High says, if the people which are called by my name shall humble themselves and pray and seek my face. Now, notice this. Humility has a process to it. It's not humility is not I'm going to get this real quick, right? Humility, ity suffix. The suffix ity is used to form nouns, typically abstract nouns that express the quality, state, or condition of something. All right. The quality, state, or condition of something. Think about that. Think about that. Hold on. Bear with me, y'all. The quality, state, or condition of something. Now, the reason why that is profound is because, all right, let's think about the quality. When you think about the quality of something, it is the what is a good simple word for quality? It is the reliability, the standard, the makeup. When you talk about the stuff you put in your face, right? What is the quality of something? It says the state or condition of something. Condition goes into quality. It often indicates a characteristic, a degree, or a state of being described by the word it's attached to. All right. So when you think about that, and when we go back to this 2 Chronicles, shall humble themselves and pray and seek my face and turn from their wicked ways. Then will I hear from heaven and will forgive their sins and will heal their land. So there's some prerequisites that you have to put into place if you want to get the fulfillment of what the Most High God has said right here. One of those prerequisites is you got to be humble. See, when you're in a humble mind frame, you realize that, or the Most High allows you to come to the realization that you don't control nothing. This is not your show. This is his show. You don't control nothing. You can't wake yourself up in the morning. You know, people will be like, hey, what time did, man, I'm going to wake up at such and such time in the morning. Man, you better say, Lord willing, because you can't make yourself wake up. From your vantage point, you could set your alarm clock. You can do all of these things in the process. But if the Most High God decides not to wake you up, it don't matter about that damn alarm clock. It don't matter how many times. You know how many people find somebody dead in their sleep? And they come and wake up, try to wake them up out of their sleep. And they wake up. And they won't wake up. Think about that. We don't control anything. So that's what it goes into when it's going into and pray. So you're in this humble mind frame of knowing that, look, hey, I don't control nothing. All praises to the power, the spirit and power, Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. And now you begin to increase your prayer life because you need that mediator, right? You need to call on to the Most High God in the name of Yahweh Shai. And that's the act of submitting. Humility is an act of submission. You're acknowledging that you're submitting to the will of the Most High God, right? That's why when we say the Lord's Prayer, right, and it say, thy will be done. We're praying that the Most High's will be done. We already know it's going to be done regardless, but that's showing humility and you're praying, right? Second step in that process. And seek my face. Now, when you're praying to the Most High God, what are you naturally doing? You're seeking his face. You're seeking his face goes into seeking the judgments of the Most High, the will of the Most High, the order of the Most High, the prophecies of the Most High, the law, statutes, and commandments of the Most High. That all goes into seeking his face, right? So that's something in being humble. Let's get 2 Corinthians 10 and 12. Bam. Right? 2 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 12. And although we're seeking his face, you got to stay in a humble spirit, right? Because it says, make your calling and election sure, right? But even in doing that, you don't know if you're going to make it or not. Look at 2 Peter real quick. 2 Peter 1 and 10. Wherefore the rather, brethren, give diligence to make your calling and election sure. For if ye do these things, ye shall never fall. Fall from what? A fall from the grace of the Most High. Fall back into wickedness and idolatry to eventually overthrow you. But even if you're going so hard to make your calling and election sure, you still got to be humble and say, Lord willing, because 2 Corinthians 10 and 12, for we dare not make ourselves of the number or compare ourselves with some that commend themselves. Think about that. Doesn't it say, let another man praise you and not thy own lips? That's teaching you, don't be in a spirit of commending yourself. Oh yeah, I did good. You know me. Yeah, I'm just the most righteous and I'm just the most holy. Oh, you know how I do. You don't want to be in that spirit of commending yourself. Now, does that mean that you can't acknowledge the things that the Most High God has blessed you with? And as far as you might have, like I know some brothers and sisters who have some consistent attributes, right? On the right-hand side. You might have certain qualities of your personality that the Most High blessed you with, right? Brothers may be good communicators, or brothers may be sincere. A sister may be good in ordering, her household under her husband, or single sisters who don't have a husband yet, right? Maybe good at ordering their household, maybe organized. There's certain things and qualities and characteristics that the Most High may have put in your spirit. Now you can acknowledge those things, but don't let it go to your head. Now you just commending yourself on everything. We don't want to be in that number. We want to be in this number, but we don't want to be in that number that's just saying, hey, I'm saved. Yeah. I'm going to heaven. I know it. Matter of fact, when we was just at camp, we go to camp and then we leave, and sometimes, Lord willing, go to Walmart, to continue the ministry. And we ran into two pastors, air quotes, last Shabbat. And both of these Negroes, probably had pork in the cart. I don't want to bear false witness. I didn't really pay too much attention, but I know both of them was breaking the Shabbat because they was damn at Walmart shopping. Now we don't go to Walmart to shop on the Shabbat. We go to Walmart to edify the sheep by Shem Yahushua. And when we finish camp, like we normally do a 2-part camp when we can. Like we might go out to the highways and the byways, and maybe 3-4 hours, whatever it is, moving through the spirit, and then leave there. And sometimes we'll go to a retail establishment, whether it's your so-called Walmarts, your Krogers, the mall, whatever it is as the spirit moves. But it's the Shabbat. The sun's not down. Now, these two brothers claim to be pastors. They literally are saying they got saved and they know for sure they're making it to heaven. But you don't got to keep the commandments. But they're making themselves a part of that number. We dare not do that. That's not humble, man. You breaking the commandments of the Most High God. Right now, you are actively committing crimes, but you're saying that you're going to be damn near like, I'm going to be exonerated, and I know I'm going to make the kingdom. But 2 Corinthians 10 and 12 says, for we dare not make ourselves of the number or compare ourselves with some that commend themselves, but they measuring themselves by themselves. See, you want to be in the spirit of where you're measuring yourself by the word of God. This is our litmus test. I want to get this real quick. You know, when I used to be in science, litmus test. It's a litmus paper used for the test. A test for acidity or alkalinity using litmus, right? So when you go into various sciences and things of this nature, there's a piece of paper called litmus paper, and you use it to put certain solutions on it to see the alkalinity or the acidity of that solution, right? Litmus test paper. So right here, you see this? Bam. So the litmus test, you got acid, you got base, and you got neutral. I think it goes from maybe 14 is very acidic. I think 7 is basic, and I think like 0 is neutral, if I'm not mistaken. Right? So when you go into this, litmus paper is a type of pH indicator paper that is used to determine whether a solution is acidic, basic, or alkaline or neutral. Right? So look, certain indications. Blue litmus papers turns red in acidic solutions. Red litmus papers turns blue in alkaline solutions. And neutral litmus papers turns red in alkaline in acidic solutions and blue in alkaline solutions. So there's certain in this litmus test, you'll know what the solution is based on the color or the changing of the paper, right? So basically, like, you know them by the tree by the fruits. So when you go into, but they that measure themselves by themselves, our litmus test is we're not measuring ourselves by our own merit. We're not measuring ourselves by our own vain works. Saying, okay, you know what? I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do A, B, and C, and because I said I'm gonna do A, B, and C, that makes me righteous. No, because A, B, and C could be things that got you going, that's going to hell off according to the Most High God. So we got to move in a humble spirit where we acknowledge that we measure ourselves, not by ourselves. We measure ourselves according to the word. And if it doesn't line up with this, then you already got your answer. You failed the litmus test. And we want to continue to remind ourselves of these things. You want to continue to remind yourself of these things, right? 1 second, bear with me. Bear with me. Slovakia. All right. Let's get 2 Corinthians 3 and 5. Let's get 2 Corinthians 3 and 5. Bear with me. 2 Corinthians 3 and 5. All praise Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. Yeah, man. So it's something in this truth, man. It's a lot of work, right? It's a lot of examinations. 2 Corinthians 3 and 5. Not that we are sufficient of ourselves to think anything as of ourselves, but our sufficiency is of the Most High. So you also, when you think about something being sufficient, that means that it, matter of fact, we're just going to go into the definition. Sufficient. Look, sufficient, fit, able, sufficient. So something that is sufficient is good enough. It's not lacking, right? If I have sufficient evidence, that means I have fulfilled the quota of what I need to obtain the thing that I'm seeking. I have sufficient evidence. Now that I have sufficient evidence, I can make a determination based on the evidence that I have, right? If I have sufficient nutrients, as an example, that means that there's some level of expectation, there's some standard, right? There's some benchmark. And if you either equal or excel that benchmark, then you have sufficient, you have sufficient whatever it is that that benchmark is trying to establish. So when you think about that in context of not that we are sufficient of ourselves to think anything as of ourselves, but our sufficiency is of God. And that goes back what we was just bringing out as well in 2 Corinthians 10, right? In terms of making sure that we're not measuring ourselves by ourselves. It's a humble thing, because it's easy to establish your own righteousness if you're going to measure it by yourself. If you setting the standards, all right, and if you are setting the principles based on your own understanding, right? I mean, you never go off in your own eyes. You might say, you know what? Well, my standard is, I know the scripture says, case in point, I know the scripture says I can't charge usury to another Israelite. Well, that's not my standard. I think if I lent you money, nigga, you should be able to pay me something back with extra. That's my standard. I'm upholding my standard. Well, you're judging you are measuring yourself by yourself. Back to that litmus test. You're failing. We want to make sure that we don't think anything of ourselves. Think how humble that is, to be in a spirit where you're not puffed up and you don't think you know everything. That used to be a thing that I battle with. Like, you can't tell me shit. Salakia for the language. But then the Most High starts to humble you. He starts to chop down at that big head you got. He starts to put you in various trials and tribulations and judgments, and he humbles you. And that's through his grace and mercy. Because sometimes the Most High, doesn't the scripture say he shows more grace to the humble? Right? Let me get this real quick. He shows more grace to the humble. It's the book of James, chapter 4 and verse 6. But he giveth more grace. Wherefore he saith, God resisteth the proud, but giveth grace unto the humble. Now, you don't want to be resisted by the Most High God. This clearly shows you, if you're prideful, if you're arrogant, if you're boastful, brothers can't tell you nothing. Nobody can tell you something. You know everything, but you know nothing at all. The Most High God will resist you. When you think about resistance, think about, I used to go time to time train with a brother in the camp, right? And this brother used to have us doing some stuff that I don't even like. I used to crack on him like, brother, you making this up. Like, just workouts that look like they ain't really gonna do nothing, but you get done like, damn. And you see people in the gym 2 hours lifting weights, and we in there damn an hour, and I'm exhausted. And we ain't even really did much of nothing as it seems, but using resistance is the point. Resistance is force, right? Matter of fact, let's get this word real quick. Let's look that up real quick. Resistance. Because remember, God resists the proud. The refusal to accept or comply with something. The attempt to prevent something by action or argument. Our resistance. I want to put this resistance training. Look, the resistance exercise, also known as strength training or weight training, involves contracting muscle against an external force or resistance to improve muscular fitness. So resistance is kind of what is it called? When you have two magnets, or repel. I think, is that the word I'm looking for? To repel. Repel. What does repel mean? Yeah, that's what I'm looking for. Repel means to push something away or to resist something. preventing it from approaching or affecting you. So now think about that in context. To repel is to push away, which is to resist. Like you got two magnets, right? If you got a negative and a positive polarity, they attract. If you ever took two magnets and you put a negative against a negative, you literally are going to feel them resisting each other. So with that in context, right? James 4:6, but he giveth more grace, wherefore he saith, God resisteth the proud. That means that if you're prideful, if you're arrogant, if you puffed up, right? If you don't have humility, the Most High God is going to repel you. And you want to abide under the shadow of the Almighty. That's your protection. You don't want the Most High God to be pushing you away, right? You want the Most High God to sup with you. You want to do all you can do to draw him in closer, right? Shalom, King. Shalom, King. Call out Yahweh Shemi Awashai.
Shalom, shalom. Can you hear me?
Khan, I can hear you. Shalom, King. How you doing, brother?
Man, bless. How you doing?
Man, bless. All praises, man.
All praises.
Khan. You got some, King?
No, I go.
Okay.
I'll go after you. What you got right now? James 4:6.
Khan.
Okay. Hold on now. You know I'm new a little bit to StreamYard now.
No, all praises. I'll pull it up when you let me know. I just pull it up.
Okay, bet.
Khan, all praises. So yeah, you don't want to be in a position where the Most High God is resisting you, because at the end of the day, man, we want to be in a position where we're getting that grace, because it says, "But giveth grace unto the humble." So you got to think, what's the opposite of humility? Pride. What's the opposite of grace? Judgment. You don't want to fall into the place where the Most High God is just constantly judging you for you being unrighteous. Now, we know none of the Most High God's judgment is unrighteous, but you could be judged for your unrighteousness. So we got to stay in a humble spirit. Khan, you got it, King.
All praise. Let's go to Luke 14. And we're gonna do 8 through 11. But let's get that like in the GNT.
All right, Khan.
Luke chapter 14. We're gonna go 8 through 11.
Khan. See it on the screen?
Khan. The water.
Oh, praise.
Luke chapter 14, 8 through 11. And it reads, when someone invites you to a wedding feast, do not sit in the best place. It could happen that someone more important than you has been invited, and your host, who invited both of you, will have to come to you and say, Salakia, will have to come and say to you, let him have this place. Then you would be embarrassed and have to sit in the lowest place. So even kicking that off, though, it's like, look, man, you gotta, a lot of people don't even humble themselves no matter where they go. But look at this parable basically going into, man, you come to a place, man, humble yourself. You want to sit in the best spot, and you might get embarrassed. And that's what you don't want. The Most High will embarrass you, not being humble. Let's keep going. Look at verse 10. Instead, when you are invited, go and sit in the lowest place, so that your host will come to you and say, come on up, my friend, to a better place. Mm-hmm. This will bring you honor in the presence of all the other guests. For those who make themselves great will be humble, and those who humble themselves will be made great. And that's powerful.
Man.
Beautiful account. And we got to keep that in mind, man. Don't be trying to make yourself great. That's why the scriptures say, let another man praise you. I'm gonna come in, yeah, I know who I am. I know what seat I'm supposed to get. You know what I mean? And you done sat in the elder seat. And you done came to a feast and you in the elder seat. Yeah, I like this seat. No, sit in the lowest place, man. Be humble. That's the key, man. The Most High is not dealing with all that pride. You got it, King.
Let's get that Galatians 6:3. And you know, that's That's an eye opener. You know what I'm saying? People come through and they think that they something, and you got somebody who damn has a higher status than you, a higher stature, and now you damn embarrassed because of your pride. It's Galatians 6:3. For if a man think himself to be something when he is nothing, he deceiveth himself. And there's a lot of turmoil that started because of somebody wasn't humble. Like in that example, and you go into a feast, you sitting in this brother's seat, right? You sitting at the head of the table. I had a situation happen like that before. I was in a what is it called? A conference room before. And you know how the conference room, you got, it was a long table and there's the seats on the side, and then there's two head seats, right? And I went to a meeting and it wasn't my conference room. And when I went to the meeting, I kind of got in and I sat at the head, like at the head seat right here. It was two seats at the end. And I remember the people whose conference room it was, who was hosting the meeting, they came in and I had to get out of this man's seat and I had to sit on the side. And it was embarrassing, to say the least. It was embarrassing.
And that's a humbling moment right there, though.
God.
Oh, praises.
God. So if a man think himself to be something when he is nothing, he deceiveth himself. And how is he deceiving himself? Because in his mind, he really thinks that he's at some type of stature. And you got to think about that in the face of the Most High, right? It says all your works, I'm paraphrasing, are like filthy rags before the Most High. And that rag go into a pad, a tampon, a menstrual, something to catch a menstrual cycle on, and all of our works before the Most High is like that. So, we got to stay in that mind frame of being humble. You got it, King.
God. Did you get Proverbs 8:13?
No, lie.
Okay, yeah, let's go to Proverbs 8:13. Because we're gonna see that you gotta hate that pride spirit. You gotta find your way to hate that pride spirit. And remember, we was bringing out one of the lessons, man, and that spirit so sneaky. Man, you don't know it's on you. That's a high level wicked spirit that'll jump on you, man, to the point you don't even know it's on you. Okay, we got Proverbs 8:13. The fear of the Lord is to hate evil, pride, and arrogancy, in the evil way, in the forward mouth do I hate. So when it comes to, we know the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. So I say the fear of the Lord is to hate evil. So when you start to gain that wisdom, you should start to hate that pride. You know what I mean? You don't want that spirit around you or on you. And even in the world though, man, that pride spirit is what get people robbed and all that too, man. Jake be in the world, man, they showing off and doing all this, man. He got that person over there with the envy on them now, and they want to rob you or kill you. Get you taken up out of here, man. So we gotta watch that pride spirit. We gotta lock in on humbleness. You got it, King.
Man, I'm gonna get that Matthew 18:2. And it's a lot of rappers. Let me get this real quick. Right. Let's go. Just a Google search. How many rappers have been killed in robberies? Let's go famous rappers, so-called famous rappers. Bam, let's see. Look, just a few prominent examples. It says XXXTentacion was gunned down in 2018 in an apparent robbery outside a motorsports store in Deerfield Beach, Florida. A P&B Rock was shot and killed during a robbery at a restaurant in Los Angeles in 2022. Phil the Future was killed during an armed robbery at a dispensary. Like, he going to get weed and got jammed up. So, a lot of the times those pride spirits, right? You damn flashy. You got, and brothers be foolish too. They'll ride around with damn, $50,000 in cash on them, and they buy their damn self, right? So a lot of times it's pride also goes into preparation of the mind. Like, what frame of mind are you in is going to determine a lot of the outcomes of various situations that you get put in,
That's
because
right.
you already moving in an erroneous way, mentality. You follow me?
God. Matter of fact, right off that, let me get this Colossians 3:12. Speaking of that, what type of mindset you should be in? We're gonna go to Colossians chapter 3 and verse 12.
God.
And this is gonna kick off too, because we all want to be a part of that elect of the elect. So we know when this verse put on there for us the elect of God, that's the elect of the elect. And we all want to be in that number. And it's going to give you some qualities that you should have as the elect. So let's read it. Colossians 3:12. Put on therefore as the elect of God, holy and beloved, bowels of mercies, kindness. Look at this right here. Humbleness of mind,
God.
meekness, long suffering. So we're going to focus on this humbleness of mind, right? And this meekness. That's the mindset you got to have. You see that? Okay, the brother just put it up in the Strongs. We see humiliation of mind, modesty, humbleness, humility of mind. So you got to lock into that, man. That's what the elect is walking around with those qualities.
Mm.
So you got to examine yourself. If you so prideful and you ain't humble, and that's even speaking of that, you got some people that just will tell you, yeah, I'm in the elect.
Hey, it's funny. I was just going into that, King, right before you jumped on about them two so-called pastors we just ran into on the Shabbat, who literally was saying that they know that they going into heaven, they making it to the kingdom.
They know for sure. Once saved, always saved.
God.
We can destroy that doctrine, but that's not humble. They already counting themselves for that number. Where the humbleness of mind and meekness at? Talking about you already elect. You know for sure. You got your ticket. I mean, you got to stop the madness, man. A lot of times, man, you just listen to people, man, and you start to discern. You can see that pride, man. It show his face. You know what I mean? So that's one thing we definitely got to make sure we try to examine ourselves and, get that pride spirit off of you, because we know, wisdom puff up. So this one of them things you really got to examine and really try to lock in, because like I said, that pride spirit is so sneaky. You get some knowledge and you don't even know sometimes you're being prideful. You know what I mean? So go ahead, let's lock in on it. You got it though, brother.
Con, and that's why the Most High God, when he sent that mighty example, Yahweh Shai was even teaching us through the Spirit to be like a child. Children, you watch children play. Excuse me. Pride a lot of times humility also goes with innocence. And this is what Yahweh Shai is teaching us about, that humbleness of mind, to have that innocent approach as a child. Now you look at a child, as children get older, as I say, hey, sometimes they may become willful and things, but if you think about just the innocence of a child, they're humble, they're gentle, they're looking to learn, right? But as sometimes we get older and we get certain knowledge and things, we get puffed up, and now we rejecting knowledge. Hey, you can't teach me nothing. I already know that. Hey, the one so-called elder told us at camp when we was at the liquor store a couple weeks ago. I think it was maybe 2 Shabbats ago. He said, you young brothers can't teach me nothing. You know how old I am. Hey, that's not humble. But look what Yahweh Shai said, Matthew 18:2. And Yahweh Shai called a little child unto him and set him in the midst of them. Now, this is powerful in itself. You got Yahweh Shai, right? And you got you got the disciples, and you got a multitude of people I'm led to believe that's around him. And he called the child to make an example. and brought the child, the little humble child, and set him in the midst of all of the people, and said, verily I say unto you, except ye be converted and become as little children, ye shall not enter into the kingdom of heaven. So when you think about being converted, what is he saying? Your mind frame, your mentality. You can't come before the Lord with a damn prideful spirit. If you got, and that's the thing too, when you got pride and a prideful spirit, that spirit is a wicked spirit that literally won't even let you come to the Lord before the Lord. Because the spirit don't want to humble itself before the Lord. And it's the Lord we talking about. And become as little children. That goes to, when you think about being converted, you're being transformed into something else. It's kind of like this real quick. Get this real quick. Metamorphosis of a caterpillar into a butterfly. Look at this. It's like this. Bam. You want to be able to be transformed. Look at this. And you can learn a lot of things just from, through the spirit, through nature. Look at this. You got the caterpillar. Then the caterpillar wraps himself in a cocoon. And look at this too. The cocoon, he puts it in, attaches it to the tree. And then through that metamorphosis over time, the caterpillar turns into a butterfly. And as that butterfly, it has enhanced abilities and capabilities. When the caterpillar is right here as a larva stage, it can't fly. It has no antennae, right? It doesn't have the beauty and the colors to help disguise itself. Look, it doesn't have long legs and a thorax and things of that nature so it can eat. The caterpillar literally has to be converted. That's how we want to be in terms of in its truth. Salaki, there it is. Now, brothers, you can see the picture, King. I think I was sharing the wrong. What's the name?
Okay, yeah, I see it.
All right, all praises. So we want to be in that spirit where we're kind of like a caterpillar, right? In this truth, where we come in, we want to be like that little child and be converted and become as little children so we can enter into the kingdom of heaven. You got it, King.
God. And I'm going to go to 1 Peter chapter 5. Let's read 5 and 6. It's 1 Peter chapter 5, verses 5 and 6. God, 1 Peter chapter 5, verse 5 say, likewise, ye younger, submit yourselves unto the elder. Yea, all of you be subject one to another, and be clothed with humility. For God resisteth the proud and giveth grace to the humble. That's key, man. And we see, for real, that's a huge issue that go. And a lot of people that I'm gonna be solo. You come into this truth, and we'll just be real. Majority of people that come into this truth, the Lord used through camps. Brother come in from camp, and now you just want to be solo, and you don't want to be subject one to another. You don't have that humility. You're so proud that I can't have a leader over me. And brother, you got to be humble, man.
God.
You got to be clothed with humility, and we should be subject one to another. You're already in the wrong mind frame too, because if you get with somebody with the right leader, they're not going to treat you. Well, I'm gonna say like y'all know what I'm saying. They're not going to treat you just like you're nothing, man. That true leader going to treat you like a brother that you're supposed to be treated like, with true love. So a lot of people, man, that's their big issue. That pride, man. They can't even be subject one to another. We see that a lot. But we see right here, God resists the proud. And he gives grace to the humble. And we all need that grace. But who he say he gonna give it to? The humble. Let's read that verse 6. Humble yourselves, therefore, under the mighty hand of God, that he may exalt you in due time. So all this go hand in hand. We see it too now, man. Big brothers really disrespecting the elders and everything.
Mm-hmm. God.
Because hey, and too, hey, they come in with the elder got this wrong breakdown, and now they want to, hey man, listen, man, it say knowledge will increase. That don't mean the elder ain't nothing no more. That don't mean doggy. You know what I mean? The prior unit just came in. Yeah, the elder wrong on this. I just seen this. Now you're doing a whole video on the elder.
Instead of the breakdown.
You know what I
The
mean?
elder became
Instead of
the
even reaching out to the elder, like, yeah,
breakdown.
I watched one of your videos. I see I broke it down like this. How you feel about this? You know, that's the humble way you come about it. Like, hey, and we see a lot of elders even humble themselves and say, hey, man, hey, them young brothers teaching me some things.
God.
You know what I mean? I didn't know that breakdown, and I seen the young brothers break it out. Now they understand it. You know what I mean? So that's another thing, even thinking about that verse. You know what I mean? And another key part of that verse is subject one to another, man. We serve the Most High with helping each other. Basically serving each other gonna take it out of context with that ministering. You know what I mean? We have to understand that. Con, you got something on the screen for me?
Going into that subject, you know what I mean? I think that also is a situation where, and you kind of went into this at the beginning of your breakdown on this particular verse. A lot of brothers don't want to be in order.
Mm-hmm.
They really don't have a respect for authority and order. And that's a character flaw, because anything that you do in this world, you're going to have somebody over you in some way, shape, or form. Damn, we in captivity with a whole nother nation and government over us. So when it goes to that subject, to place or rank under, to subject, to obey, to be put in subjection, to be subordinate. Look, to obey, be under obeisance or obedience. So that's all that subject goes into. You got it, King.
God, I'm glad you brought that out, and that's key. Look at that. We see rank. A lot of people don't like rank. Like you said, there's a lot of people that is coming. This man, who is he? They come in. Hey, they week one in this camp. Hey, when you moving me up, you know what I mean? I should be a captain right now.
Yeah, I know more than that, brother, right there. Hey, or brother be in the wrong spirit on some, yeah, coming in here, I'm gonna be general next year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then if they don't, they want to leave. Now they bashing you.
God.
I don't like how they moving. And like I said, and a lot of people, they get to just being on their solo thing. When we see so many scriptures on gathering together and things like that, you want to be solo because of that pride. A lot of times it's that pride, man. You can't take correction. That's not being humble in itself, too. You can't even take no correction. We got to kill that spirit, man. You got to kill the old man when you come into this truth. You got it, brother.
God. I'm gonna go that Matthew 5:5 and let me back off that, because even like that First Peter just brought out, it's basically saying the same thing. Blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth. Now, I know we all want to make the kingdom. We want to get that ultimate inheritance. And this is the will of the Most High. You know, when you think about life insurance, think about life insurance. There's a beneficiary of that policy. So when somebody transitions, whoever's the beneficiary of that estate is going to get the proceeds of that policy. And it may be a monetary value, it may be land, it may be some type of assets, right? But you have to be in that will in order to get that inheritance. You cannot not be in the, you can't just be some random person, right, with no attachment to that will or to that estate, and then you just get the inheritance. So in order for us to be in the will of the Most High, in order for us to get that inheritance, we see a prerequisite. We already are Israelites, so that puts us in the family, right? That makes us a part of the fold. But being a part, everybody who's a part of a family don't automatically get the inheritance. And we hear this all the time. You might have a certain amount of siblings, right? Say you got 5 or 6 siblings, and your parents end up transitioning, right? All praise to the Most High, they pass on. Everybody don't get the same inheritance, and and that's why you have people fighting over estates. So we want to make sure that what are we doing? We're being meek, that we can get that inheritance to inherit the earth, right? What you got, a king?
That's for sure. You definitely want to be that meek. We see it. Blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth, man. You can't get away from that. Let's go to this Proverbs 13 and 10. So now get Proverbs 13 and 10. And we see right here, say, only by pride cometh contention, but with the well advised is wisdom. And that well advised, guess what? You're going to be the opposite of having that pride. Because you got the wisdom. The fear of the Lord is to hate pride. But right here, say, only by pride cometh contention. A lot of times, man, and it's so much contention everywhere, not just in the truth. You know what I mean? Everywhere, contention. And a lot of that just going to go right back down to some pride. You know what I mean? On either side, too. It ain't always just a one-side thing. Who was you to say this to me? And if somebody already had pride and said something to you, and your pride, who is this nigga to say something like that to me out of all people? Now you prideful. It's a double pride going on. It's a lot of contention come from that. You know what I mean? Next thing you know, y'all trying to kill each other. We got to understand that, man. A lot of time when we just think about it, anybody that goes through contention or anything, man, sometimes just sit back and examine yourself and make sure you ain't got the pride. You know what I mean? And a lot of times that'll resolve the problem. You ever heard people say, I'll be the bigger person? What you think they mean by that? Look, I'm gonna be humble. Let me take the other route. I'll be the big. Hey, I'm sorry. Hey, you know what? If that offended you, brother. Hey, that pride though. I ain't saying sorry to that nigga. He ain't say Salakia to me. You know what I mean? And next thing you know, man, hey, y'all beefing until y'all get out of here. You end up not getting the seat. You end up not making it because you got the hate. That pride made you keep the hate and the grudge. You know what I mean? All the way to the end. You done kept all these feast days, fringes on, and so forth and so on, but your pride was always in the way. And now you don't make it. Think about it, man. You got it though, brother.
Man, yeah, that's a scary thought for real. You got fringes on, but your pride is bigger than your fringes. You got pride bigger than your fringes, man. Oh man, let's get
your
up.
Beard. And bigger than your fringes and your beard, man. Your pride.
Your big pride. Let's get this Proverbs 11 and 2. When pride cometh, then cometh shame. But with the lowly is wisdom, and that lowly goes into humble. And it's so wise. You got to be moving through wisdom, and that's when you think about how beautiful the precepts are, precept upon precept. That the beginning, you can't even be wise if you're not fearing the Most High. The beginning of wisdom is to fear the Most High. So it's showing you that hierarchical order. Like you got the Most High, you got Yahweh Shai, then you got man, then you got woman, you got child. But you fearing the Most High God, right? And by establishing that fear with the Most High God, now you begin to move in wisdom. But if you're not fearing the Most High God, you're not going to be moving in wisdom, which means you can't be humble because it says with the lowly is another word for humble, is wisdom. And you can't even begin to get wisdom unless you fear the Most High God. So when pride cometh, then cometh shame. And why are you going to be in shame? What does that mean? When pride cometh, then cometh shame. If you think about actions and reactions, it's showing you a chain of events. It didn't say when you humble, shame comes. No, that pride triggers a reaction that brings shame. And that shame could be because of judgment. And a lot of people, you know what I'm saying? They get into their pride puts them into situations that are embarrassing when they could have avoided, those certain outcomes. So we definitely want to move in a spirit of wisdom. And I'm going to get this real quick too. I want to get that lowly. Look, lowly, to be modest or humble, right? So we want to be in that lowly, that humble spirit. And that modest is important too. And especially too, when we even be talking to sisters, like, hey, pride, when you walking around, you got your damn breasts all out, right? You didn't got your thong to thong up to here. Brothers can see everything that you got. That's pride. Because humility goes into modesty, which goes into shamefaced, which goes into be humble. So there's a lot of different folds of pride. And the solution to all of them is to pray for that humble spirit. You got it, King.
For sure, man. Let's go to Psalms 10 and 4. Let's get that in the NIV. Psalms chapter 10 and verse 4 in the NIV.
God.
And it reads, in his pride, the wicked man does not seek him. In all his thoughts, there's no room for God. And we bump into this a lot. You know what I mean? It's so much pride out there. People ain't got no time. They ain't even think about the Most High. You know what I mean? People tell us, God, I'm the one getting me up and making the money, and I'm not giving that credit to nobody else. Boy, you know how much pride you got on you to even fix your lips? You know what I mean? That's just wicked. That's why I said in his pride, the wicked man does not seek him. That's all that pride. They ain't humble. They think they doing something on their own and they moving around and it's sick, man. You know what I mean? It's just sick. And then we thinking about too, they got a nerve to have something called a Pride Month. And people proud to be wicked. Literally. They proud to be gay. Run around here. It's Pride Month. You have to be proud. They ain't seeking the Most High. Sad, man, out here, man. And that's why we got to go out here, Lord willing, week in and week out, man. Try to get our people out that mindset, man. It's too much pride going on all around, especially in Israel, too. You know what I mean? You got it, though, brother.
Yeah, that Pride Month, that's just super wicked, though. Like, you got a whole month of just being prideful. It's like, yeah, I'm proud that I'm breaking the laws of the Most High God. It's crazy. Let's get this Proverbs 16 to 18. I want this in the NIV as well. The book of Proverbs, chapter 16 and verse 18 says, pride goes before destruction and a haughty spirit before a fall. So notice this, that when pride comes in, we saw contentions come, shame, destruction. Those are all outcomes of pride. It all starts with pride. So you got to check that pride. They say, hey, check it at the door. Hey, check yourself. A haughty spirit before a fall. I want to go into this word haughty right quick. Let's go into this word haughty. Haughty, arrogantly, superior and disdainful. So haughty means arrogant. So you don't want to be arrogant. And there's a lot of ways to be arrogant as well. Arrogant isn't just what am I trying to say? Arrogant isn't just how you reply to things. Arrogant is a mind frame. It could be in your body language. It could be how you process things. It could be a lot of people are arrogant in their reactions, in their response to things. A lot of people are arrogant towards the Most High. They think like, yeah, I'm on my own time. That Bible, man, I ain't about to, man, you better miss me with that Bible. And that's arrogant. That's prideful. And that'll get you destroyed because you're not going to hearken to the words of life. So what are you going to get? The wages of sin is death. That's going to be your reward. So we gotta check that pride. Gotta check. And and the thing with pride though, it's a spirit. It's a spiritual warfare. It's not just something that's just haphazard. You know what I'm saying? It's a spirit behind that. You got it, King.
Yeah, that pride demon will whoop you up. That pride demon got hands, man.
Mayweather.
Yeah, that got Mayweather hands, man. They whoop you up, man. You know what I mean? We're gonna go to that Psalms 138 and verse 6. Let's get that in the NLT though. Psalms 138 and verse 6. You got to be ready, man. Like I said, that pride spirit got hands, man. You're going to be in trouble. Okay, Psalms 138 and verse 6 in the NLT. Though the Lord is great, Yahweh is great. He cares for the humble, but he keeps his distance from the proud. Man, you don't want that. You don't want the Lord to keep his distance from you. All that non-humbleness and you just got so much pride on you. It's you, it's all about you. They say the Most High care for the humble. Look at that, say, though the Lord, letting you know too, like this the Most High we talking about. But he cared for the humble though. For the lowly, the meek. But guess what? You're going to keep that distance from the proud. You know what I mean? Hey, that's short, simple, and sweet. You got it, King.
Man. I'm going to get that Proverbs 29 and 23. That Proverbs 29 and 23. A man's pride shall bring him low, but honor shall uphold the humble in spirit. Hey, it's so many precepts, man. Pride is dangerous. Pride is deadly. It's more, I think pride is probably the number one killer, y'all. So like when we talk about the root of the problems, most murders, rapes, prison sentences, any type of thing you can think, most of that is rooted in pride. Either somebody was actively the person being prideful, or they were replying to a proud action against them. Strongly led to believe. So we want to be moving in that humble spirit and not that prideful spirit. You got it, King.
Can I grab that? Let another man praise you.
And not thy own lips. All right, Con.
Yeah, I forgot I paraphrased that. Let's get that. Proverbs 27 and 2. Proverbs 27 and 2. Okay, Con. Proverbs 27 and verse 2. Let another man praise thee, and not thy own mouth, a stranger, and not thy own lips. You gotta watch, brothers, man. You gotta keep your eye open, man. Brother, get done bringing something out. Yeah, that was mighty. Hey, man, let somebody else say it was mighty. You want to get done with your lesson? Yeah, y'all should be thanking me for that mighty lesson I just blessed y'all with. Yeah, hey, calm down. Let somebody else. Hey, and you had that pride, and the lesson wasn't even on point. You know what I mean? You gotta watch brothers like breakdowns. That. Yeah, you got wrong breakdowns, and these things we got to start discerning and you know, and looking out for. You know, somebody come, man, I like, and then too, it's another thing. Somebody even praise you. You got to watch that.
Mm-hmm.
You got to see they answer to that. Somebody walking like, man, dang, man, you already had a mighty lesson. I know. Thank you. They don't even say all praise to the Most High.
God. Hey,
Yeah.
Salakia,
Uh,
real quick. You know, it's one of the things where we be afraid to even take that praise, though.
man, for real. Hey, you right. And that's the key to trying to be humble. You know what I mean? You got to try your best to remain humble. Somebody come up with, man, I like how y'all teach. I like, hey, man, all praise to the Most High, the water. A lot of people, man, look, take a long time for you to get where I'm at.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? You're like, man, I like the
Level
way
up.
you teach. Yeah, you will never get on this level.
Hmm.
You should like the way I teach. I've been in this thing for 20 years. You know what I
God.
mean? Like, come on, man. All this is through the spirit. Empower Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai.
God.
Gotta be humble. So even accepting the praise from somebody else, you gotta even know how to accept it. So for one, you shouldn't even be praising yourself. And for two, when the praise come your way, you gotta know how to even act. Don't let that puff you up. And now you lose your humbleness. You was humble.
Hmm.
You wasn't talking, you know what I mean? You could be humble. Like, I ain't praising myself. Then somebody praise you. Now you lose the humbleness. You know what I mean?
God, to go
Hey,
back
somebody
into
say, man, I like that. Let's hold on. You want to record it real quick. Can you say that again?
run that back.
Yeah. And now you got the camera on now. Hey, can you tell me what you just said a minute ago? Now you want to go here and post it and show everybody. Yeah, somebody said I was mighty. And now you're losing your humbleness.
God.
Somebody didn't praise you. You couldn't even take it.
Hmm.
You got it, King.
And then be test too. A lot of tests. The most I want to see if you gonna and don't get let's not get simple. When we say the most high wants to see, right? That seeing is for you, it ain't for him. He already know. He's proving you. You gonna give him the glory, or you gonna give vainglory? We're gonna get this Philippians 2 and 3, matter of fact. Right. And I want this in the AMP. Bear with me. Philippians 2 and 3 in the AMP. Do nothing from selfishness or empty conceit through factional motives or strife, but with an attitude of humility, being neither arrogant nor self-righteous. Regard others as more important than yourselves. That's a lot to unpack there, man. Your intentions. You got to think like nobody knows your intentions but the Most High, but they know the outcome. You know how people use always say, but like, it ain't what you say, it's how you say it. You might intend to say something or to do something in a righteous manner, and it may come off wrong. But a lot of times it's the opposite way. People have bad intentions, and they conceited, they selfish, and we already saw that pride brings strife. But with an attitude of humility, and that goes back into that humbleness of mind in that Colossians. You want to move with a humbleness of mind, being neither arrogant nor self-righteous. And we went into that a little bit earlier, talking about that litmus test. Like, you don't want to measure yourself by yourself. That's self-righteous. You know what? And that goes back into that Proverbs, I believe that 3 and 5, that lean not to thy own understanding. That's being in a mode of self-righteousness, where you're trying to set your own standard based on your own standard and regard others as more important than yourself. You know, be humble. Hey, uplift other people though too, because sometimes humility is beyond like what we can perceive it as. A lot of times we perceive humility as just how we are viewed by other people. A big part of humility is also how you interact with other people. Now, are you that brother or sister who are you uplifting? You know, are you motivating? Are you a good example of humility? You say you humble, but do you show it through your actions? Do other people perceive your humility? So it's a lot. It's a lot to weigh in the balance. You got it, King.
God. I'm gonna go to Proverbs 22 and 4. Proverbs 22 and verse 4. Say, by humility and the fear of the Lord Yahweh are riches, honor, and life. You gotta understand that, man. And I know these three things, a lot of people that, if you tune into this, you want these three things. We talking about true riches, honor, and life as well. And that key to that life, that goes into that everlasting life as well. That comes to you by humility and the fear of the Most High Yahweh. That's key, man. You got to be humble if you want riches, honor, and life. You got it, brother.
God, we're gonna land me back on that with that Romans 12 and 3.
God.
It's the book of Romans, chapter 12 and verse 3. For I say, through the grace given unto me, let's stop right there. Not of my own self, but through the grace given to me by Shem Yahushai, to every man that is among you, not to think of himself more highly than he ought to think. Man, that's a checkmate. Basically, like, look, man, you think, you know what I'm saying? You think you on a certain level, but you're really not. Like, check yourself, man. Be humble. Don't think too much of yourself. And a lot of people think that, though, for real. What they say, what is it called? They got their nose in the air. You know? It's like they walking around thinking that you know what don't stink. And what was that Outcast song? That roses really smell like boo, boo, boo. Fair use.
God.
You know? But to think soberly, accordingly, it's like according, as the Most High have dealt to every man the measure of faith. And you got to, that's a humbling thing as well, knowing that the Most High didn't give everybody the same measure of the Spirit. Hey, some brothers got a lot, and sisters got a lot of faith. Hey, some he imparted less faith. Hey, some brothers got and sisters got a better memory. We one body, but many members. So even understanding that is a humbling thing. And you might not be the best at anything, but who cares? You can strive for that perfection, but don't get caught up in that. Dang, I just got to be the most. Now, it is a hierarchy in the kingdom. So we know a part of that is striving in righteousness to make your calling and election sure. But where it gets weaponized is when your whole intentions and your whole intent and purpose is, I want to just try to be more mightier than this brother. Oh yeah, I want to be more mightier than that sister. What are your intentions? Now you gonna let something that's supposed to be pure and sincere, your sincerity has been corrupted. And now you're moving, and like we were talking about earlier, in ranks. You don't sincerely want to be that top rank because you really want to sincerely minister and be able to commit your works into the Most High. But now pride and crept in unaware, and now your sincerity has been corrupted, and you want a certain position because you want to be seen, because you want to try to trump that brother or trump that sister. So you definitely don't want to be moving in that spirit. And this is the thing is, if the Most High God allows you to examine yourself in sincerity, and if he shows you that you are moving in that spirit, it's never too late until it's too late. Repent from that. A lot of people offend people because of their pride. Have you offended somebody because of I know I've done it before. And you got to go to that person and be humble. Hey, you know what? Salakia, I was moving out of pride. Salakia, how I responded. I was arrogant in my response. Pride also makes you can be in a situation where you don't consider somebody else's feelings. Nah, it ain't about them. You know, they did this to me. I responded this way because of they did this to me. That's prideful. Why not examine? You know what? I responded that way, but was that the best way to respond in humility? You got it, King.
Well, that's key right there. And a lot of we gotta understand too, man. Israel, man, we'll be at a definitely a better state if a lot of pride wasn't in the way, man. And that's for sure. Let's go to Sirach chapter 3.
You want 18?
Yeah, let's start at 17 all the way
All right.
down to 20. We stop at 20. Kind. The book of Sirach, also known as Ecclesiasticus. We're gonna go chapter 3, 17 through 20. My son, go on with thy business in meekness, so shalt thou be beloved of him that is approved. The greater thou art, catch this, y'all. The greater thou art, the more humble thyself, and thou shalt find favor before the Lord. Y'all see that? Like the greater you get, the more humble you're supposed to get, not the opposite. We see a lot of the opposite. The greater you are, the more pride you get. You know what I mean? And a lot of times, too, it goes back to that one verse. So many people praise you, it changed you. We see that with these so-called, entertainers and superstars. And you could be cool with one of them. You grow up with them and they blow up. Are they different?
I don't know.
They used to ride in the car, this dude, everything was cool. Now, hey, take your shoes off in this car. they saying some crazy stuff to you. Like, man, hold on, bro. You know what I mean? Hold on. Wait, watch how you talk to me. All that pride, man. The greater people get, the more pride comes. But we see this verse telling us the greater we are, hey, the more we got to humble ourselves. And guess what? With that, you find favor with the Most High. Because the Most High put you on put you greater out here. Hey, man, you got to definitely make sure you get more humble, man. Examine yourself. Let's keep going. Verse 19. Many are in high place and of renown, but mysteries are revealed unto the meek. Sometimes, man, you wondering why you ain't getting these mysteries revealed to you. And you're not meek. You're not humble. Yeah, you might can remember a lot of verses, but you ain't got no mysteries unlocked to you. You got all the verses, all your breakdowns is wrong. You wondering what's going on. You're too prideful. You want to laugh at it, bro. I just seen him use his phone. What?
Hey, that sounds crazy.
People be, see that? He just had to use his phone. He couldn't remember that precept. I remember it. Hey, but you ain't got no mysteries. Yeah, you can. You can remember everything, but you can't break down nothing right, man, because the mysteries are revealed unto the meek. You ain't even humble. Verse 20. For the power of the Lord is great, and he is honored of the lowly. There's so much all throughout the scriptures, man, telling us to be humble and get rid of that pride. Man, we'll be here all night, man.
All right, man, you took the words out of my mouth, man.
Hey, for real, man. It's so much showing us this. That's how heavy it is, man. Once again, remember, y'all, the greater thou art, the more humble thyself, man. Keep that in mind. We all have to keep this in mind. Because the greater you get, boy, them spirits jump on you, man. Hey, you're a whole different person, man. And that's why they got a little saying, too. Like in the world, saying money don't change me, it changed the other people around me.
God.
And really, it changed both of y'all. You know what I mean?
Pride got you not even be able to see. And that, yeah, man, that's wild.
You got it, okay.
Well, we'll wrap up. We'll bring out a couple more precepts. I'm last precept. I'm gonna bring out state in this chapter. It's a mighty chapter too. For real. 1 second. Let me get back to it. I think I'm on 3 and 4. That what I want, 3 and 4. No, that ain't what I want. What is let me get, many are deceived by their own vain opinion. Ain't that in the same chapter? Let me see real quick. Oh, 3 and 24. It's like 3 and 24.
God.
Sirach 3 and 24. For many are deceived by their own vain opinion, and an evil suspicion have overthrown their judgment. That's another thing too. Pride to have your judgment off.
Mm-hmm.
You be so prideful, the Most High is showing you something right in front of your face, but you rejecting it. You, hey, in that example, hey, brothers, somebody could be laughing right now, like, see that? Can't make this stuff up. He had to type in where it's at.
Yeah, he couldn't even remember it.
Can you remember it? You know what I'm saying? Your opinion, though, can get you. Your opinion can get you destroyed in this truth, because your opinion don't matter ultimately. You could think whatever you want to think. That don't make it true. You can act on your thoughts and be in sin. So, you definitely want to check yourself, right? And there's a lot of people who never even will, a lot of people's opinion will keep them out of the truth. Think about that. A lot of people's opinion will keep them out of the truth, because they'll prejudge the truth and think it's falsehood. They're deceived by their own vain opinion. It's pride. They're not going to open up the scriptures. Now we know ultimately the Most High God didn't draw them to him. But even with that opinion could be one of the stumbling blocks that the Most High God is using to keep them away. What you got it, King?
God. If we stay in Sirach, man, I close out with Sirach chapter 10. And we do 12 and 13. Chapter 10, 12, and 13. God. Sirach chapter 10, verses 12 and 13. The beginning of pride is when one departed from God. You got to think, man. That's scary, though, because you think like, dang, all the times you're being prideful. Hey, I was showing you departed from the Most High. And his heart is turned away from his maker. For pride is the beginning of sin, and he that hath it shall pour out abomination. And therefore the Lord brought upon them strange calamities and overthrew them utterly. You don't want that ending, man. That comes with that pride. Even you think of the beginning of sin, you think Eve had some pride on her. She knew the rules. You know what I mean? She knew the rules, but got finessed. Hey, you do this, man. You would be able to know this and know that. Hey, that pride, okay, I'm gonna do it. You want humble enough to be like, nah, cool on that. We got what we got. We good. You know what I mean? So if you think about, a lot of sin does come straight from pride, man. And the verse say what it say, the beginning of pride is when one departed from God. Because the Most High get all praise and honor and glory. That pride, now you feeling like, no, look, it's on me right now. And then you get to making dumb decisions. Right at that moment. So you get to thinking you something and thinking you this and that, and you get to making some stupid decisions, man. When your mind is turned away from your maker. And we see that all the time, man. All throughout this wicked world. You know what I mean? We land with that, though, y'all.
That's scary.
Yeah, it's scary, though. When you see that departed from God, that's scary. Like, you know what, man? Like I said, you get to think about all the times you know you had pride on you.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Seeing that, and your mind was turned away from your maker at that moment. You know what I mean? So yeah, man, Israel, man. Let's get it together, man. Let's pray for one another, man. To get rid of that pride spirit, man, and keep it off of us, man. And you got to know how to even know it's on you. That's why examination is key in this truth, definitely. You know what I mean? So we end this giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, man. We hope this was edifying. It's your brother Cyrac.
Brother Nehemiah, O.F.I, Kwame Ashala.
Kwame Ashala.